Really appreciate you having you on here as the former commissioner of the NYC Department of Small Business Services. So as the former commissioner, Greg ran a dynamic city agency focusing on equity of opportunity that leads to economic self-sufficiency and mobility for New York's diverse communities. So SBS actively connects New Yorkers to good jobs, creates stronger businesses, and builds a thriving economy in neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs. Mr. Bishop currently serves as the executive director of Coro New York City Leadership Center. So just an overview of the amazing work that you've been doing and that you're up to now. And yeah, we'd love to hear really about that city agency, how groups can get support through that, as well as other ways to navigate these city agencies.
Sure, and I'm going to do it really quickly, and then we could come back with any questions that folks have. But I think I was with Small Business Services, which is a local agency specifically tasked with helping businesses, but also helping New Yorkers find jobs. The agency was started under the Bloomberg administration, which is actually the administration I started under, and continues to this day. It is one of the I think best kept secret in New York City. But I know Blair and Gina know about a lot of our resources, and we work closely with a lot of local organizations to really get them connected. Our services, the SBS services, connected to small businesses. So in terms of where we are with COVID, SBS is in a very difficult position. I will, as the former commissioner and now no longer responsible for speaking for the administration, as a private citizen, the agency is responsible for helping small businesses, but the agency, because of COVID, does not have the authority to make decisions. They can only react to decisions that are either made by the health department, by the mayor, et cetera. So in terms of what they can do, is the agency has a huge network of lenders, financial institutions that you may not even know about. I just dropped a PDF in the chat box that the agency created recently to talk about all the different resources that's out there. But everything from working with UMES to all the different organizations across the city, there are groups in Brooklyn, et cetera, where they do microloans, they do 0% interest loans, they do affordable capital. I notice I didn't say cheap capital, but affordable capital, to help small businesses through the NYC Business Solution Centers. So a lot of business owners spend a number of time to actually try to find the right set of resources in terms of capital, and SBS has already done the homework. They know the type of profile that their partners are looking for. So when you go to SBS and a financial account manager sits with you, they then build a profile, and then they could tell you that these 3 or 4 entities we think you'll be successful with, and they actually help you provide one-on-one assistance to actually help you apply. There are other things that SBS is doing right now. As guidance shifts between what you can and cannot do, they get information from the different agency and try to their best of their ability, and I will say the best of their ability because sometimes it's a moving target, to explain that information to you as a business owner. So whether it's, what does it mean to put my products on the sidewalk, or do I need a permit with another agency? Any type of interaction with another city agency, you should really contact SBS because they will be your advocate. They can only do what they're empowered to do, but they are definitely trying. I think the biggest challenge right now, and Blair and of course Gina and anyone that's worked with even Rashawn in the committee, it's like literally any organization that's working with small businesses know that the need that you have as a small business owner right now is greater than the local government can provide. So it is important for us as a group to actually advocate, still continue to advocate on a local level. But the city of New York, they're facing deficits of almost, $8 to $9 billion. And a lot of it is because, property taxes are not coming in. Our biggest source of income, which is, tourism, represents about $3 or $4 billion in revenue. That's not happening. So there's a number of things that prevents the city from actually meeting the needs of small businesses. But where they can, for example, if you're still getting, agencies that are coming in to do inspections and finding you, SBS can step in and advocate for you. If you are concerned about certain things in your community, where an agency may, maybe there's a graffiti issue or cleanliness issue, or quality of life issue, SBS can step in and talk to the different agencies and get action for you. You have to consider SBS as almost like your lobbyist. You do not need to pay for a lobbyist to actually do this work. You can go to SBS and they could connect you right to the different agencies. What's also important is that SBS has the is responsibility of certifying minority and women-owned businesses. So if you are now thinking about diversifying your revenue streams, maybe you are B2C, and now you're trying to figure out, how can I diversify my revenue stream, and I want to actually start doing business with the city. SBS can help you understand the process. I will say, be very, very cautious about that, because, as I said, the city is facing a deficit. So if you're a vendor for the city, you will get paid at some point in time, but this should not be your hope for actually getting you out of some type of financial, debt, et cetera, because the city will take a long time to pay. Where average, vendor may take, maybe 30, 60, 90. The city could go anywhere from, 60, 90, even to 180. But it is guaranteed that you will get paid. So you do have to make a budget decision in terms of whether or not you want to diversify your revenue stream to include government contracting. But if you do decide to do that, the city can help you in terms of, SBS can help you in terms of not only understanding the process, but providing one-on-one assistance to apply for that process, and definitely reviewing your bid submissions, et cetera. So there's a number of resources that's available. They're all at no cost. And notice I didn't say free, because your tax dollars are actually funding all these operations. So you, in essence, are paying for it. You just need to use it. So I'm going to stop there. I really just wanted to talk about the resources. There's a lot more that SBS offers, everything from connecting you to legal services, if you're having issues with your landlord right now, to just preparing for your business to move online, et cetera. There's a number of different things that they offer, which I would probably take up the entire time tonight. But certainly happy to be here and to answer your questions. And certainly, thank the team for inviting me to be here. And it's important for organizations like this to continue doing this work, because it's really, how to connect businesses to each other and to the resources that's out there. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That is an amazing resource, and I've already learned so much from you. So I appreciate that, and hopefully that was really helpful to our small businesses in the room as well. I think something I just wanted to really pull out, something you said, is advocating. With SBS, how they can advocate for small businesses, but also I wonder, you said how we can come together and advocate for ourselves, not just on a local level, but state level. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that, of how some of us in the room may be able to do that, or suggestions you might have.
Yeah, I think, so there's strength in numbers. So it's good to even convene your grantees, because now that is a block, right? And I think it's important, for especially like even business owners to understand supporting organizations like yourself, because then you are a voice that elected officials will listen to. And all politics is local. And Blair knows this. Blair's organization, you have to deal with like the local officials, you have to deal with the state officials. He has even to deal with the federal officials. So it's important for business owners, civics 101. It's literally, not only do you have to think about running your business, but you also have to think about how to become civically engaged. That's one of the work that we do at Coro. And becoming civically engaged means, helping organizations like yourself understand what are some of your challenges. Then you guys will then talk to elected officials to talk about those challenges. And in many cases, when you continue, that drumbeat, that changes policy. So, it is important for you to know who your elected officials are, to know your local elected officials, who are your council members in your area. They should know who you are. It's important for you to know your state officials, who are they? And it's important for you to know your federal officials. Right now, the reason why we are in the situation we're in is because Congress has failed to enact a second stimulus. Every one of your federal officials should know the impact that is having on your business. Because the more they know, the more they can tell these stories in Congress. And it's the same thing with on the local level. The mayor is making decisions, but I will tell you, as a commissioner, I responded to the squeakiest wheel. So if I had an organization that was constantly coming to me about challenges, that's what I would focus on. So, for example, I've had organizations that represent, for example, dry cleaners. The state has a rule that in December they have to change their some equipment or whatever, and those organizations have been advocating for months now about delaying those rules. So simple things like that is why it's important to organize. It's important to be part of a collective, and it's important to have your policy ideas and move that agenda forward. We would not be here, and this is the last thing, we would not be here in terms of, for example, the MWB program. Agencies now have full discretion up to $500,000. When I started in the Bloomberg administration, it was only $20,000. And the reason why that changed, and that's a substantial number that has changed, was because of the advocacy of not only minority-owned businesses individually, but collectively working with the administration, working with advocates, and also going up to Albany and talking to elected officials. So unfortunately, as business owners, you not only have to run your business, but you also have to participate in civics. So.
Thank you so much. And I think that's kind of a great point, is like, help us help you. That's a huge part of sharing your stories, and also just continuing to talk to us, telling us what you're going through, telling us what you need, because one, that will help us better support you as a grantee partner, but also continuing to bring in our other partners that are here on this panel, so that we can share what's happening, but also tell local elected officials as well, so that we can be an advocate partner too. So Greg, I don't see any questions for you in the chat, but I do see an appreciation from Melissa. They just said they've been working on becoming certified WBE owned business, and they were quite intimidated by the process. So this is a really good resource to know. So
Yeah, don't be. I will tell you the MWB certification process. Simply ask a couple questions. Who are you? What are you? And what can you do? Right now, it sounds simple, but there's all the documentation to prove, like, who are you? What are you in terms of you going concern, and what do you do in terms of, like, literally the products that you sell? You do not have to do it on your own. And most importantly, and this is the most important thing, do not pay anyone to do this for you. You have free resources. At any NYC Business Solutions Center, a staff member will literally sit down with you and walk you through the entire process to apply, and even help you with the application process. And we have partners out there as well. So just go to SBS's website, and you can fill out a form, and someone will get in touch with you and help you start that process. All for free.